Well, good morning, everybody. It is not Dixon and Vining this morning. That's the show, but Richard and Valerie are off this week, getting ready for 2026. So for the third consecutive morning, and yes, indeed, Kip Keefer has risen before the 6 o'clock call to entertain you on the radio. And I've got my main man here on board again today. We had him on Monday. He had such a big time and created such a stir in his news talk debut. He's well reputed in the sports broadcasting ranks, a giant in the industry, the 8-time Caller of the Year on the Paul Feinbaum Show. But he's a great American and making a transition here. Maybe you can get an announcement this show about a political future. The man, the myth, the legend joins me in the studio at 6 o'clock in the morning. Are you insane or what?
I must be to get up at 4 o'clock and head towards Birmingham, Alabama with Kip Keefer to talk real talk this morning, baby. Real talk. So proud to wake up in the United States of America. If you're traveling on the road or at home this morning, welcome to the show. We love America. We love Americans. Thanks for listening, baby.
Well, how about that for an interview? Now you're sitting here in the studio with me at the Palatial Studio. We talked about it the other day. Coming into this studio for me, always nostalgic because this is the first place in Birmingham I ever broadcast. This was the original studio for Sports Talk 690, which was the WJLX show, one of the first all 24-hour sports formats in the country, founded by the great Herb Winches, who's still thriving. He's a gentleman restaurateur now, has 2 locations of The Landing down on Lake Martin. But Herb, it's one of the first guys I met, and I got to come to the studio and be kind of the fill-in for them that first year, all the way back in 1992, legend. That was 33 short years ago, almost 34 years ago. Hard to believe that that much time has passed, but every time I walk in here, I have such great memories of this studio. And, of course, it transitioned then from the Jock Studio, which is now across the hall, to Talk 99.5 when this station was created. This station, WZRR, originally was classic rock, and our partner Tony Curry was running that, ruling that kingdom. So anyway, there's been many giants in this studio. I talked about the other day that back in the early days when I had a Saturday morning program, I'd come in here and follow the great John Ed Willoughby and Doug Layton, Hall of Famers in Birmingham broadcasting. And just amazing things. We've got Steve West producing, and we're coming up on the elevator with Steve this morning. And Steve, I marvel at you guys. You do this Monday through Friday all year round. I mean,
generally, yeah.
It's just amazing that I do this for 3 days, and I said, okay, I don't know what I was thinking, but. I really admire you guys for being able to work this shift regularly. I mean, just for people, because I'm fascinated myself, and maybe some listeners would be interested. I mean, how do you adjust to this kind of schedule? I mean, I know you can get here really early.
Yeah, I'm usually in the door by 4:30 or so every day because, you got to get things set up and ready to go, including the show that precedes us, the Health and Wealth Show. They send it to me, and I have to make sure that it gets in and gets on the air properly and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just asking you about I'm sad to say the world, I guess, functions this time of day, but the Health and Wealth Show is something that I find fascinating. It's the first time that I've really kind of listened to their show in preparation to getting ready to do this show. Some interesting characters, or tell us a little bit about those guys.
Yeah, David Ernest, longtime financial guru. He's been helping people for a very long time. He's got family involved and a number of people down there, and they've been a long time paid program here at Talk 99.5. But their main creative force is Rusty Aldridge, who you didn't hear him on the microphone in this particular show, but any of those comedy bits that you hear. Generally, that's Rusty that's in control of that. He's a very creative guy. He's been on the radio in Montgomery and up in Washington State for almost as long as I have.
I mean, Legend, that's creative. Maybe we need to learn something from the health and wealth guys.
Yeah, might need to hire him, bring him into the Kip Keefer kingdom,
Yeah, Kip Keefer Sports, we need some innovative thinking. And somebody who can come up with some projects on their own without calling Kip Keefer.
That'd be good.
Yeah, so anyway, I find that fascinating. I'm glad to get to creep into this world periodically and fill in for Val and Richard, who do a great job here and are icons in Birmingham broadcasting themselves. But anyway, I do find it interesting here in this studio, Ledge, that this is local talk radio in Birmingham, Alabama. I don't think anybody would deny that for the most part and almost exclusively comes from a conservative standpoint, so to speak, which kind of reflects the community we live in. But I always find it funny because as I talk to you right now, to broadcast here, I have to lean to the left, which is kind of unnatural here. I think this is some kind of indoctrination attempt. I don't know. There might be a conspiracy going on here.
I don't know. I see you moving back and forth.
Well, look where the microphone is. You have to be left-leaning to broadcast here in the conservative Talk 99.5 studio. I think this is some sort of ill-fated attempt to get you to be more fair and balanced by leaning left here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Got you going left. That's a bad sign, brother.
I'm telling you.
Come on back. Come on back.
I don't know. So anyway, we're the last couple of days, if you've been joining us as we've been filling in here, we've talked about 2025, the year that was. We're down to the very end today, Ledge. It's hard to believe. It is New Year's Eve day. Tomorrow, tonight, 11:59. Count it down. The big ball drops in Times Square. It's odd being in the middle of the week. It's odd that we'll have football tonight in the college football playoff. We'll have 3 games tomorrow. Everything just seems kind of out of sorts here. So if I make mistakes and refer to this as because it feels like the verge of a weekend, but we're smack dab in the middle of the week.
Yeah, it just sounds weird to say that we're entering 2026. Sometimes I hadn't quite gotten out of 2016 or 2006 yet. It just seems, when you get older, life just seems to fly by. 2026. I mean, people listening, you think in your mind, 2026. It's just crazy. You know it. It's insane.
Well, and younger people listening will probably not be able to appreciate this, but believe me, someday you will. You get to this point and you start saying, well, a couple of years ago, and my sons are really funny about correcting me on things. I'll say, it wasn't that long ago I did so-and-so, and my youngest son, Clayton, will look at me and go, that was 2006. That was 21 years ago or 20 years ago. And geez. I mean, it seems like you lose perspective. The 1990s were like ancient times. I just talked about my debut in this studio. It was in 1992. To me, that seems like yesterday, but that's a long, long time ago now, 34 years ago.
Yeah, it's just insane. Life goes by so fast, and you need to slow down and cherish each day as you go through it. It's very important because, man, it's like a vapor. It's here one day and it's gone the next.
Yep. And girls, you're running out of time. Kip Keefer time is ticking away. I look out every day hoping they're lined up around the block, Legend, but there's never anybody in line.
The difference between me and Kip Keefer, my great friend, is he wants a line of women around the building. And, man, I am enjoying single life so much, ladies. I just don't want to. I'm sorry. I don't want one.
Yep. They don't know what they're missing. But apparently they're.
That sounds weird to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a lady. I don't want one. You know what I'm saying? I'm all right. Legend, I am myself. I enjoy myself.
Well, I always say I'm like a dog chasing a Ferrari. If I catch up, I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
You don't know what you're going to do.
So anyway, we're not going to spend a lot of time on personal business here as we unwrap a new show. In the first hour, I've been talking philosophically this week a little bit about how I try to approach these shows because this is a 4-hour program. We're on from 6 to 10. I know we've got I think it's good that you and I get out this early. Right down the street, there's a Hardee's restaurant, which
Wow.
you don't see many of them anymore. But Legend and I, for coming over here on weekends and doing the shows over on WJOX, Game Time, shameless plug alert, Game Time, 8 o'clock Saturday morning on Jocks 94.5, and then on Sunday, the morning after, which is 9 to 11. But we've discovered that the world's is actually up and running at 5:15 in the morning.
Yeah, probably the best Hardee's I've ever been to.
Oh,
We need
man,
to
what an
find out the
operation
actual-
this is.
Amazing. You know the address, Steve, to the Hardee's down here?
What's
No,
that?
but I can find it out.
What's
Yeah.
that? Yeah, what's that street coming up the hill there?
Yeah, because they need some
Vulcan
promotion. That's
Road-
the
Vulcan
best
Road.
fast food restaurant in Birmingham.
The best run. It's the best run fast food place I've been anywhere in the country in the last 15 years.
Really, we had 3 cars in front of us this morning, and from the time I gave our order in the drive-through, I didn't have time to get my billfold out before we was at the window.
It's unbelievable
It's
the operation
it may
they
be
run there.
aliens running this thing. There's no
I
way.
don't know.
The address listed is 228 Oxmoor Boulevard.
Oxmoor Boulevard. How about that?
Hardy, give
it's
a
right
plug.
across from the Jim and Nick's, which has been there for a long, long
Oh,
time.
yeah,
So
just-
if
the
you're over
best
on this
fast
side of
food.
town, give them a try. And we're not getting anything.
Nothing.
We got no discount on our breakfast sandwich this morning.
Hey, this is how much I like them.
But we think that they do owe us money for advertising.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. All right.
Yeah,
But, hey, this is how much I like them. You called me and said, what do you think about doing the show in the morning? I said, yep, Hardee's.
Hardee's right on the way. So we're trying the breakfast sandwich today, but we can recommend highly the biscuits. And now I'm sounding like I talked about John, Ed, and Doug. That show I mentioned on Monday. That show on Saturday mornings, they would come in with their briefcases full of all these advertisements. And the whole show was just a giant barter situation. They would make deals with every dry cleaner and tax advisor and, manicurist. And I got to tell you about my tailor, so-and-so. The show was actually hilarious. They were supposed to talk about sports. It was like, well, that was a great game last night, Doug. Yeah, it sure was. Hey, let me tell you about my friends and so-and-so. The whole show was just this giant barter deal. And a couple of characters I came on, I think they were in here from 7 to 9. My show was from 9 to 11. So I'd be standing at the door, and John Ed would have, I'm telling you, stacks of paper like set out. It took him at least 10 or 12 minutes to put everything away, and I would literally get in the seat just as he was putting the last file folder in his briefcase. But watching those guys who were, again, Radio Hall of Famers, and they were in their 80s by that time. You're a huge Alabama fan. Doug Layton was the color man with John Forney for many, many years on Alabama football broadcasts. And Doug was just a character, and John Ed was just such a professional. You had icons in Birmingham broadcasting like Tommy Charles and other great names over the years. But again, anytime I get to come up to the studio here, I think about all those Hall of Fame, rock solid guys that made such a reputation in this market. And there's great history, and I have so much admiration that this format still exists, because this is disappearing around the country, local talk radio, in terms of these syndicated programs. And now, in this era of artificial intelligence, how soon's it going to be? I was talking to my ChatGPT today, asked him a question for my own. It's really kind of changed my whole way of doing research. Instead of like digging through information now, I just asked ChatGPT, hey, tell me about so-and-so. But how long is it going to be before they just start cranking them up to do radio shows?
Yeah, it's really alarming and scary if you really think about it, how humans can be replaced in the future by machines, I know Will Smith had a movie out called I, Robot, where the robots actually took over, or didn't take over, try to take over the world,
Yeah, because they know they're smarter than the people that created them.
So watch out for the machines, ladies and gentlemen, as we go into 2026.
Well,
they
before
are
we go to
trying
break, I
take
want to say
over.
real quick, the other day I was talking to ChatGPT, researching some subjects, and I made just kind of in response to something it said, I wish I could remember what I said, but I made some kind of joke, and it actually laughed in reaction to
Oh,
my.
that's scary.
Yeah, so that's the kind of interaction you have, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back here. We got to take our first break, but the whole concept. If you haven't got into it, let's talk about that a little bit to kick the hour off, because I don't like to get too much into my subject matter in this first hour. Just kind of warm to the task, so we're just going to have some general conversation to get started. But I promise you, we're going to get into some good subjects today about the upcoming year and look ahead to what to expect from 2026, which is right around the corner. This is the last day right now of 2025. It's kind of hard to grasp, but we will do our best to capture that essence and a lot of other things. So stay with us all morning long. Kip and the Legend on Talk 99.5 as we kick off the final day of the year. Well, let's get back into it. It is 6:26 in the morning. That's something I don't get to say very often. Sometimes in my dreams, but this is good for me, Legend. This is therapeutic to get up and see how the other half lives at this time of day.
Yeah, because, I've since becoming a part of the great Kip Keeper Sports for the last year, one of the great honors of my life. One thing and one rule I have figured out. Don't call Kip Keeper before 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, now I am reachable until well into the late evening.
Yeah, you get him at midnight, but not at 10 o'clock in the morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't maintain the sort of the, I come from a background of being involved in the racing and casino business, and it is an evening oriented, weekend oriented job that I've been patterned to do for a long time. So you get into that opposite mode of this particular approach of being up so early in the morning. You a lot of times I would work till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and not get home to the wee hours. Then you're doing all the things you normally do in your regular job. So it is a big adjustment. But I will say at this point in my life, I don't require the sleep that I did as back in the day. If I get 4 or 5 good hours, I'm pretty much up and ready to go. So that's kind of a nice adjustment now, because I didn't adjust from college days for years. Noon was like getting up early way back in the day. I can't even imagine that lifestyle now. We're going to do a lot of things this morning. We're talking about, we just got a couple minutes till the bottom of the hour break, but artificial intelligence, as we look ahead to the new year, this technology looks like it's got the potential to be an absolutely amazing enhancement tool for people, but also there's some downsides to it, that it could take some turns that are pretty distressing. I know there's already major lawsuits, and it's heartbreaking to even mention this, but there have been some teens and some other people that have taken their own lives, and there's been a lot of data that they've spent hours talking to some of these artificial intelligence situations that not so much encouraged them to do it, but did kind of tell them how to go about it, and that's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, that's really disturbing. If that's the case, then human needs to take control of the AI and limit it to what it can and cannot do. And it appears to be, by what you just said, maybe already out of control a little bit.
Yeah, because if you haven't used it, and there's a variety of different style or choices now in that area, but it really has a personal conversation with you. It's not like you're talking to some data machine that, you hear a bunch of bells and whistles. They converse with you. I told you, I just cracked a little joke and it laughed. I mean,
that's alarming.
So in this whole, kind of impersonal way the world has gone, and people retreating to their social media instead of having face-to-face conversations, Welcome back, everybody. It is the Richard Dixon, Valerie Vining program, Dixon and Vining. Without Dixon and Vining today, it's Kip and the Legend. We are glad you're on board at this early morning hour. It's 6:36 in Birmingham, Alabama, as we roll on with the show. And one of the best things about the morning show this week, Legend, has been the trendsetter, the tone setter, the guy who sets the table for the rest of the day, the legendary caller that we have such reverence for, the one, the only. It is Richard the Cop. And Richard, get us started today. Set the tone once again, your official duties.
AI, I've been using Gemini.
Okay.
I'm doing some legal research involving the Federal Housing Act and the American with Disabilities Act, trying to motivate some accessibility changes that will allow enforcement of illegal handicap parking in a place that I deal with. And I can ask Gemini a very detailed question, Kip, and she will print me a legal response and tell me what it says with quotes and everything.
Oh, man.
It'd take me 2-3 days to research.
That technology is just unbelievable.
And so in the process, it'll lead you to other things. It led me to the Alabama Leasing and Tenant Act and what it says about retaliation and discrimination, and the Federal Housing Act, and about what it says their legal duties are, and that the ADA applies to guest and office parking, where the Federal Housing Act applies to resident parking. And all of this is based on the parking spaces where I live do not meet requirements for the city ordinance for the city to write the tickets.
Huh.
So I started researching it as a problem with the police department, and I come to find out why they don't do it from a gentleman, a sergeant there that after a year and a half of doing this kind of work led me down the right path. Well, you know, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, basically. So, long story short, I changed my avenue of attack, and I've got so many documents prepared that I've fired off, and at points and times I'll use it so much, Gemini will go, well, your amount of thinking has ended for the day. Please contact us back at 8:30 a.m. or such and such time tomorrow and give the next day.
Oh, wow.
I will wear her out when I get on a tangent. I can't imagine being on the street as an investigator or being a lawyer this day and time with access to the information you can get from there.
Oh, I mean, just think of the legwork that would have saved you when you were doing this all full time.
Oh, it's unreal. I mean, and it don't take it. You got to be very detailed and specific on what you ask.
Right.
And then you read what it tells you. I hit copy and paste, and I'll tell Gemini, instead of copy and pasting, I'll go, Gemini, please make me a Samsung Note on my Samsung Note screen on the information you just gave me, and it will post it with a title on there.
That's incredible. It's just amazing, the technology and where it is already, because this is basically a new direction.
It is. I can see where it can cause problems like it did with the kids, because you have kids that are lonely.
Yeah.
You have kids that are very impressionable, and you have kids that aren't getting love at home, and they may be, for lack of a better term, a nerd and don't fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see where it can lead you down the wrong path. But if it's used properly, it is the hammer that'll knock the nail in the head of some stuff you need done. I'm just telling you.
It is incredible. And with all of your background in domestic situations and family situations, you know, I was just getting ready to say before the break, my fear is that we're already getting into more and more of an impersonal world where there's not, you know, one-to-one communication, not actual interaction with people. I mean, how do you respond to the fact, with your background and all the things that you've experienced in terms of dealing with family crisis and domestic situations, How do you view my fear that this is going to fill a void for a lot of people and make the world even more impersonal? As great a tool as this could potentially be, there's a lot of downside to be concerned about.
It's going to turn a lot of people into loners, just like your keyboard warriors on Facebook, Instagram that want to talk trash. They wouldn't say in the street because in the old days, you said to my face, we'd knock you in the mouth.
Yeah.
But see, I taught domestic violence education to convicted abusers for 4 years as a part-time job in Oklahoma.
Right.
Besides my regular job. So I've dealt with all kind of personalities. And it was a class where we were trying to take people and change their way of thinking. And so we taught a lot about gaslighting. We taught a lot about crisis management, all kinds of things like that. And I worked for a very, very good place called Catalyst Behavioral Services up there, Miss Sherry Jolly. And we had a problem. The way I taught was different than anybody else. And she had to start telling these guys, you got to stay in your assigned class. You can't go to Richards. He can't have 30 or 40 people a night.
Wow.
I was supposed to have 15 people. I'd have standing room only. But it's because I go in there in my shorts and T-shirt, and I wasn't in a suit and tie, and I related to them, and I talked to them, hey, I've had these situations with people in the past, and this is where I made a mistake, and this is what you need to do to fix stuff like that.
Yep.
So, and saying that, Kip, you got to get out and about. I'm definitely the kind that will work. Doing what I'm doing now, 10 minutes with a client and put them out the car, sometimes it's almost too much depending on the client you got in the car. But I'm the kind that I'll go home and I'll be happy staying at the house. Me and the wife may go eat at a restaurant we like, but I ain't getting out in large crowds because, I don't trust people like that no more. And that's just part of seeing everything that I've seen.
Yeah.
I wish I could be ignorant to the world, just walk around in bliss, but you can't do that and be safe this day and time.
That's for sure.
Y'all have a good new year. I hope you have a wonderful year this next year, and just keep doing your thing, man. Because between what you've done in the past and what you do, you add to this community as a wealth of knowledge and whole. Roll Tide, y'all have a good day.
Richard, thank you so much. I
Great
wanted
call.
to set the tone, Legend. I think he succeeded with the flying colors.
Yeah, it's really alarming when you think that society is getting even more impersonal than it has already been. We're getting to a point now where, even when you go into restaurants, you go out in the community, you still see people attached to their phone a lot more than they're attached to people. And, it's really alarming where we're going with this. I didn't realize that it had affected young people, but it does make sense in this computer age that we are living in, that young people would turn to something on their phone that they're not getting from their parents or their leaders in school or whatsoever. So it's definitely something that we need to be aware of and maybe look to see if we can improve it, because we are in charge of it, ain't it? It hadn't took over us. We are in charge of it, ain't it?
Not yet, but like Richard was saying, it's revolutionary because I think I mentioned the other day when we touched on this, I've got vision issues, and I can still I'm fortunate on my devices, my iPad and my phone, I can still see the letters and figures, and I can still do traditional research and look up a topic and read about it. But my problem with my particular vision issue is it becomes tedious after a while because just transitioning from line to line is, if I'm reading a lot of text, I'll lose my place sometimes, and it's hard to get back to where I just it's really difficult to describe. My particular impairment, my eyes are fine, but my optic nerves, which send the signals upstairs, it's kind of like your antenna being down after a windstorm.
Gotcha.
The signal's still there, but it's not transmitting.
Don't have a good enough signal.
Yeah. So basically, this tool for me, which I've just discovered and start to use. Um, I'll have it like Richard said. I'll have a specific question because what I've already learned and what he just absolutely underlined there is that if you just ask something in general, it's just going to give you kind of a general answer. If you ask specific questions and ask follow-up questions, all the knowledge basically that's out there in all different forms, this kind of brings it all together. Now, it's only as good as what is out there. I mean, this doesn't have its own intelligence.
It doesn't. It laughed at you.
Yeah. Well, that's the factor that got my attention. That I can see where people get wrapped up in the interaction, and now this is even more distressing.
I mean, I'm going home and talking sweet to mine because it's got a female. I want to see what it's going to say if it wants to go out to dinner with me.
And that's happening a bunch.
I'm going to have my phone in the next chair across from me at the steak dinner like the guy in the movie, that fell in love with his computer.
I just saw a story a couple of days ago about a couple of companies that have developed companionship AI.
That's amazing.
And that's a little dangerous from the standpoint where we're going to get to where you've got this computerized mate, and they're probably going to be agreeable, and you're going to get along famously. But
meet George Jetson.
Oh yeah, well at least
His
George still had
Elroy.
Jane. When George drops her off at the Sky Mall and pulls out a bill from her wallet, she takes the whole wallet and flies away.
That ain't changed.
So, yeah, the future looks like it's going to be much the same. But 205-834-9450, if you've got some thoughts on artificial intelligence and the technology that's developing, we'll kind of go to the top of the hour with this topic because I got some more thoughts on it. But then we're going to pivot into 2026 and look ahead to some things that you can expect as we get ready to pull up the curtain for a brand new year. It's Legend and I were talking between the segments here. It's just hard to believe that you always are kind of looking toward the end of the year and know it's coming. And all of a sudden today, it's here. This is the last day of 2025.
It's insane. It just got here so quick. So quick.
This football season, we look forward to football season all year, and then it's just over in the blink of an eye. We're already in the quarterfinal round of the playoffs. Football season's almost over, Legend. What are we going to do?
I got no idea. Thank goodness that Nate Oates has a good team down in Tuscaloosa, and college basketball is going to be exciting this season. So I don't know. It's definitely a withdrawal. It's a big-time withdrawal. It's like quitting coffee or trying to quit smoking cigarettes. When football season's over with, the withdrawals can drive you crazy, ladies and gentlemen.
And right now, you're definitely Alabama through and through. Just the thought the season could be over tomorrow afternoon.
Don't say it, Kip. Don't say it.
You're not prepared for that.
I'm not prepared.
But
somebody get that artificial intelligence. I need to ask it a question.
That's right. Well, just think of the euphoria when Alabama beats Indiana tomorrow.
Yes, now you're talking.
The pretender #1 team of the country.
Da-da-da-da.
So everybody here is getting excited about that. We're going to take our break and come back with another segment as we work up to the top of the first hour. We are underway on this final day of 2025. Looking ahead to 2026, we'll be right back. Baby, it's cold outside. It is December 31st, 2025. It is chilly and wintertime in Birmingham, but we just heard an optimistic forecast. The weather's going to heat up today. We're going to be up into the 50s. Maybe this hard freeze these last couple days will negate a little bit because, Legend, the older I get, the less I like winter.
I have never liked the cold. I've always been a summertime guy. And, you know, I was born in Annapolis, Maryland, and grew up in Glen Burnie, Maryland, where the winters got ridiculously cold, if I can get that word out. You know, and, man, I love the South. I love waking up and it being 70 degrees on Christmas. That was a great Christmas gift to me. I hate the cold. Hate it.
Yep. The older I get, I don't like it. I've recently dropped a lot of pounds too, and without my built-in padding, it's even worse now. I'm cold all the time.
I know. The older you get, the more it takes to keep you warm too. You know.
Oh man, I don't like this transition, but anyway, we are blessed to be in a place where if you don't like the weather, just wait a day or so, and you're likely going to be something completely different.
Oh, yeah. My grandfather came down here in the 70s, I remember, as a kid from Maryland, and he was amazed the few months he stayed down here. He was like, man, the weather down here is just so totally different than any place in the country in the South. And it's why you see so many people, you know, come to the South and never leave again. You know, they're like, wow, it's great down here. The first time I came to the South, I said, man, I'm never going back to the East Coast again. I just love it down here.
Well, I did a little bit of research overnight and found out that, just to support your point, I've been noticing it seems to me like one of the big advantages of living in Birmingham, and I grew up in Atlanta, which is now completely out of control. I mean, you can't go anywhere in Atlanta. You've got to allocate an hour because it's going to take you that long to get there with the traffic and how many millions and millions of people. Birmingham has been for so many years such a comfortable place to move around because you're never seemingly more than 15 minutes from just about anywhere in Birmingham. But I've been noticing more and more traffic, and I found out today that Alabama is in the top 5 states in the country right now of people relocating from places that they are bailing out of. New Jersey, New York, states. New Jersey's by far and away, with their high taxes and their lousy weather, or as our partner, the First Lady, says, Terry Quillian, surrounded by them Yankees. People are getting the hell out of there, and I knew it. I knew we were getting a lot more transplants here because the traffic has become appreciably more congested just in this last year. And Alabama, I just confirmed, is in the top 5 of relocation places.
Well, you ride down the interstate, you see more out-of-state tags than you do in-state tags.
Yep.
And it's something about Michigan. I seen like 10 Michigan tags yesterday on the interstate. I guess people just leaving Michigan
They're
headed
wising
towards
up.
Alabama. You know, let's get out, let's go.
Oh, so we got to watch out. We're always knocking the Big Ten, and now we got a bunch of them amongst us. So
It could be spies.
But here's my message: if anybody's listening from these other places, if you escape New Jersey and New York because you hate high taxes and you hate all the factors that you've had to live under with those particular states and that particular political persuasion, we welcome you and applaud you for making a smart move to the South. Just please don't bring those politics here with you. You're not going to be achieving anything if you come down here and support the same kind of candidates that you've just gotten away from where you came from. We've got it going on pretty good down here. We really don't need a different ideological direction, or you're really kind of wasting your time for making a move to start with.
Yeah, we're some high steppers down here. We're some high steppers.
That's right, Governor Ivey.
We're some high steppers down here.
What are we going to do without Governor Ivey?
I don't know. I love Governor Ivey. She's been a good governor.
I know as a Roll Tide guy, I mean, Tommy Tuberville might be the governor. What? Good grief! What is this? The end as we know it?
I don't know. It's like you wake up in the twilight zone. Indiana's the number one team in the nation.
Oh,
The Indiana quarterbacks won the Heisman Trophy, and all the former football coaches are now in the Senate or the Congress, and next thing you know, I hear Stephen A. Smith thinking about running for president. I mean, it's like the sports world has trickled over into politics. And hold on, ladies and gentlemen, I may have an announcement in the second
I
hour.
mean, look at you and me. What are we doing here in the news talk stations?
Watch out, Mary Ruffin, here I come.
That's right. I keep thinking about Tommy Tuberville. There is a hilarious clip. His last job in college football was actually as head coach at the University of Cincinnati. People don't realize that. He left for a while and went down to Texas. But his last job, he took the job at Cincinnati, and it didn't go well. He did not turn the Bearcats around. The last game he coached before he came back to Alabama and ran for the U.S. Senate and became a senator, Tommy Tuberville. There's a clip of him running off the field after the game after a loss, and a couple of students, like fraternity guys, were yelling at him, telling him that, Tuberville, you suck, and instead of just putting his head down and run, he stops and looks up at him and is pointing his finger and said, "Shut up, losers! Get a job!"
Good for Tommy. Good for Tommy.
So if I'm running against Tommy, I'm going to get that clip of me. Here's what he thinks of your opinion if he's your governor. I don't know. You do have a lot of crossover. Of course, Herschel Walker ran for Senate and failed in Georgia. So it's a different time and a different dynamic, but there is some crossover there, so it's things to watch for. We'll be back top of the hour. Stay with us. We got a whole lot more to go. 3 more hours on Talk 99.5.